Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. You know there's nothing we like more than a good movie. There's a reason that the entertainment industry makes so much money. We can't get enough of seeing our favorite stars on screen. Some of the most successful releases are comedies, which have spawned some of the most embarrassing scenes of all time. They're uncomfortable, awkward, difficult to watch, and yet so hilarious that we can't take our eyes off of them, as much as we might want to. Join us as we take a look at some of the most embarrassing scenes ever, ranked from cool to cringe. Ben Stiller, the master of comedy, king of the laughs. Stiller has been in so many comedic movies that he's the undisputed master in the Zoolander movies. He's kind-hearted, has a jawline to make Johnny Depp green with envy, and delivers the famous look, Blue Steel. But he's also painfully stupid. Keep your eyes peeled, because we've got more to come from Stiller. Fans of this movie will know exactly where this one is going. If you haven't watched Bridesmaids yet, seriously, what are you waiting for? It might look like your stereotypical chick flick on the outside, but it's actually pure comedic genius. Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph star as two best friends torn apart by jealousy and a big old wedding. There are multiple hilarious yet hideously embarrassing scenes in this flick, but the best by far is this one. The gang are out dress shopping in an incredibly upscale boutique when disaster strikes. By disaster, we mean the Brazilian food they ate at a dodgy restaurant beforehand. Things descend into chaos in a hot second as they all fall prey to food poisoning. Before you know it, there's vomit everywhere, followed by some ungodly toilet mishaps. Melissa McCarthy delivers an incredible performance, but Rudolph gets the crowning glory, so to speak. The rest of the bridesmaids are doing their thing when Rudolph's character runs out into the street before pooping herself in front of New York while wearing a wedding dress. Yeah, it's difficult to watch. Ben Stiller is such a lovable dope that you can't help but root for his character in There's Something About Mary. The movie reached icon status pretty quickly thanks to the performances of Cameron Diaz and Stiller, who tries to get the girl, but something always goes wrong. In one of the flashback scenes, we can see Stiller's character Ted as he arrives to take Mary to prom. Nervous, he asks to use the restroom, and that's where things take an interesting turn. After doing up his pants, the teenage Don Juan gets his parts stuck in the zip. Cue an incredible scene that goes down in movie history as one of the best, eye-wateringly brilliant moments to have ever existed. The entire family waits outside the bathroom door as Stiller tries to keep what's happened on the DL. It doesn't work, and before you know it, both Mary's mom and dad are trying to free his beast from its metal clutches. If you're not belly laughing by the time the police officer appears in the bathroom window to take a look, then you're made of stone. Not to mention when Ted is taken away by the ambulance, we'd love to shake the writer's hand for this dazzling skit. Let's pay homage to the late, great Heath Ledger with this one. Long before he was the Joker in The Dark Knight, Ledger was teen tearaway Patrick Verona in the comedy 10 Things I Hate About You. The actor starred in the beloved movie opposite Julia Stiles, who played his love interest, Kat. It's a sweet, offbeat film that has an impressive, of-the-moment cast. Its format, although a little predictable, works well. When Patrick is vying to get Kat, he tries to win her affections by making an incredibly grand gesture. It's one that Liza Minnelli herself would be proud of. With the help of the marching band, the Lothario launches into a rendition of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. He instantly loses his reputation as well as any amount of cool. It's supposed to be a big, swooping plea that knocks Kat off of her feet, and she is impressed. Complete with incredibly awkward dance moves and declarations of love, it's a scene for the ages, but also one that feels like we want to hide behind a sofa until it's all over. Seriously, could you imagine what would happen to someone if they did that in real life? High school would eat them alive. It doesn't bear thinking about. Hold on to your hats because it doesn't get much better than this. Little Miss Sunshine is a spectacular venture, starring Steve Carell, Greg Kinnear, Toni Collette, and Abigail Breslin as an adorable aspiring beauty queen. Little Olive steals the show in more ways than one. Thanks to its uniqueness, Little Miss Sunshine was a box office smash. One of the most popular scenes shows Breslin's character, Olive, competing in a pageant. Unfortunately, her drug-addled granddad has been the one coaching her, so her performance was a little avant-garde. After dedicating her performance to her gramps, Olive launches into a slightly inappropriate dance routine to Super Freak. Pageant bosses go wild and try to have her removed from the stage, but the rest of the family joins in to support her. That's solidarity in its finest form. It's a brilliantly bizarre moment that's both uncomfortable to watch and weirdly moving. Who wouldn't want a family that loves you enough to get up in front of an audience and hip thrust to Rick James with you? There's something strangely liberating watching the clan go berserk, but also humiliating thanks to the lone clap at the end of their routine. The judges might not have thought so, but they're all winners in our eyes. We could do an entire video on the embarrassing moments in this movie alone. Spinal Tap is one of the greatest parody movies to have ever existed, way before the likes of Scary Movie ruined the genre for the rest of us. Following the fake band as they navigate their way through stardom with some cheesy songs and long glab metal tresses, it's cinematic genius. The mockumentary has many scenes of certified glory, but one particular scene stands out heads and shoulders above the rest. The gang are on stage rocking it out to their mystical tune, Stonehenge, waiting for an impressive replica of the stones to float down. Only, it's not quite what they expected it to be. A knee-high foam model gets lowered onto the stage as dwarves start to dance around it. The serious tone of the song matched with the odd faces of the band is absolutely priceless. You're all at once mortified for them and shaken by the overwhelming desire to bust a gut. There's a reason the movie remains relevant to this day. It wouldn't happen to Beyonce, would it? Agent Phil Coulson, the epitome of a cool guy that has a key part to play in saving the world. He knows just what to say and when to say it. Put him in a room full of superheroes and it's totally no big deal. You can trust him to get the job done. Unless he sees Captain America, in which case he turns into a 12-year-old girl at a Taylor Swift concert. Coulson adores the Cap, which makes for some awkward encounters between the pair. When he meets Steve Rogers, Coulson tells him that he's a huge fan and introduces himself with, "I watched you while you were sleeping." What a great, smooth, and professional thing to say to the person you've waited your whole life to meet, right? Rogers is visibly uncomfortable, which is what makes the scene so brilliant. Of course, Coulson ended up being skewered by Loki's scepter, and it was his passing that led the rest of the team to band together. Nick Fury later brought him back to life with a special procedure that would involve an alien serum, presumably so he could fanboy another day. Renee Zellweger plays the part of Bridget Jones so well, it's become her defining role. The actress has 3 of the movies under her belt now, spanning decades. We all know and love Jones as the eternal singleton that couldn't really catch a break. Also starring the likes of Colin Firth and Hugh Grant, the film has given us a plethora of humiliating moments, with Bridget being at the center of most of them. Remember the time that she slid down the fireman's pole reporting live and ended up sitting on the camera? That's not even the best one. It's taken some deliberation here at the Binger, but Bridget's most embarrassing moment has to be this nugget of gold. In the first movie, she turns up to a risky costume party wearing a Playboy bunny costume, complete with fishnet thighs, ears, and a little tail. The only trouble is that the theme was changed at the last minute, and poor Bridget didn't get the memo. Cue lots of laughter and some tricky situations that were classic Jones. These movies would be nothing without the cringe factor though. They run on blunders. Can you believe that this is Ben Stiller's 3rd entry into this video? That's how skilled this guy is. Need something that makes your skin crawl it's that difficult to watch? Call Ben. He's the only man for the job. Meet the Parents is everyone's worst nightmare come to life. It's always incredibly nerve-wracking to meet the in-laws for the first time, let alone when the father is a former CIA agent and thinks you're the worst person in the world. Ben Stiller plays Greg, the poor unfortunate soul that ends up at the same dinner table as Robert De Niro. It's already going terribly before Greg somehow starts talking about the time he milked a cat, like it's no big deal, right? Try to get that gross image out of your head while you're eating. It's not ideal. In true Stiller fashion, things go wildly wrong. Greg ends up smashing an urn with Grandma's remains in it, so bits of family matriarch are scattered everywhere. What's more, the cat ends up using Grammy as a litter tray. Seriously, who comes up with this stuff? It's more genius than Einstein. Back in 2014, Lindsay Lohan had yet to implode and was still Hollywood hot property thanks to the success of Mean Girls. The movie remains a classic teen comedy that has all the elements you'd expect. A revenge plot, some romance, and a few moments that make you curl up in horror. Cady soon becomes the girl she's trying to take down, getting way too wrapped up in the allure of being popular. When her parents are out of town, she throws a party complete with shots and spiked punch. Neither do her any good when she meets her crush Aaron up in her room for a little alone time. Like any self-respecting high school rebel, Cady throws up all over Aaron and everything in sight. She desperately tries to get him to stay, but it doesn't do any good. The jock is gone quicker than you can say DUI. We've all had a few vomit mishaps in our time, haven't we? It's all part of the coming of age, like taking calculus or having a locker that just won't open. Ah, memories. Lindsay herself will attest to the pitfalls of alcohol now that she's notorious for, well, you know, everything. How are you doing? Are you all cringed out? Yeah, sorry about that. But wasn't it great to revisit some of these movies? Did we get everything, or do you have a gem that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments section down below. Before you go, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing from us. We've got loads more coming your way. Until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.